Today I wanted to talk about The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, the 2014 novel from Becky Chambers. The novel follows Rosemary Harper and her life aboard the Wayfarer, a tunneling ship moving through war-torn interstellar space. Here's the official description, which I've edited down a little bit just to shorten it. When Rosemary Harper joins the crew of the Wayfarer, she isn't expecting much. The ship, which has seen better days, offers her everything she could possibly want. A small, quiet spot to call home for a while, adventure in far-off corners of the galaxy, and distance from her troubled past. But Rosemary isn't the only person on board with secrets to hide, and the crew will soon discover that space may be vast, but spaceships are very small indeed. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is a really surprising novel, or at least it was for me. I read quite a bit of science fiction, and it still managed to surprise me. And that's a good thing. I feel like it's pretty hard to surprise me at this point. And after some thought, and after I broke it down a little bit, I found the two things I think make The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet so surprising. The first surprising thing is how character-driven it all is. It's character-driven science fiction, and not everything that's done is done to further the plot. In fact, very little of it is explicitly done to further the plot. Interactions between characters are explored in small, focused moments that play out in front of a sprawling galactic backdrop. And the entire cast of characters is just wonderfully rich. I would hesitantly describe it as being half soap opera and half space opera, which is accurate, I think, but as a description, it actually leaves something to be desired. I guess I would say its primary interests lie solely in the realm of character exploration. Usually when you're talking about something that is character-driven, you're talking about something that's primary interest is character development. And that's simply not the case here. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is character-driven. It just doesn't really care about character development. It cares about character exploration. And that's sort of different for a character-driven novel. And it feels strange, completely strange even. But it also feels strangely effective. The second really surprising thing is how the fictional world of The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is put together. This idea is commonly referred to as world building, and it's really surprising here because it's strikingly optimistic world building. At the end of the day, every imagined world and every fiction is created by someone. And that simple act of creation is driven by a sense of purpose and a sense of intent that become a part of the world and a part of the fiction. And in this case, I call it optimistic world building because Becky Chambers intentionally created and developed this world that her story takes place in to be an optimistic world. And that's surprising because it's refreshing. The inherently speculative nature of science fiction is probably my favorite thing about science fiction as a genre. And the idea that someone can speculate like this and purposefully create an optimistic world, one that at times feels more optimistic than our own, I don't know, it's a good feeling. The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet just ends up being this surprising and rich experience. And I'm not even sure I've done a good job of explaining that. I don't know, it really managed to catch me off guard, and just as quickly as I started reading it, it was over. It's precisely the kind of science fiction that I would confidently recommend to anyone, whether they're someone who is new to the genre, or someone who is eager to dive into the genre but isn't quite sure where to start, or even to someone who already reads a ton of science fiction. It's good for pretty much anyone I can think of. And there's probably a lot more that I could say about The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to recommend it. It's a completely unique and surprising thing, and that's precisely why it's worth experiencing.